In 2025, being out is safer than ever, but it wasn't always that way. These men were stars on screen, yet lived in silence off it. Some hid to protect their careers. Others never got the chance to come out. A leading man of unmatched charisma, Carrie Grant was the ultimate screen icon. While he married multiple times, it's his decades-long relationship with actor Randolph Scott that still sparks curiosity. The two lived together in a beach house dubbed Bachelor Hall, and although they never confirmed their romance, many Hollywood insiders believed they were more than just roommates. In a time when homosexuality was a career killer, Grant simply couldn't afford the truth. The face of 1950s masculinity, Rock Hudson was adored by women and admired by men. But the truth was hidden until his tragic death from AIDS in 1985. His passing forced the world and Hollywood to confront both the HIV/AIDS crisis and the hypocrisy surrounding sexual identity in show business. Hudson's legacy is now inseparable from the LGBTQ+ history he never got to live out publicly. A symbol of youthful rebellion, James Dean lived fast and died young. Though publicly linked to women, behind the scenes he was rumored to have been involved with both men and women. One of his closest companions was producer Rogers Brackett, who many believed was a lover and a mentor. Dean once said, "I'm not going to go through life with one hand tied behind my back," hinting at his fluid sexuality. He never got the chance to truly define himself. Clift was brilliant, brooding, and tragically closeted. He endured years of inner torment, trying to reconcile his fame with his sexuality. Friends like Elizabeth Taylor supported him, but the weight of societal expectations drove him to addiction and despair. His story remains one of the most heartbreaking examples of Hollywood's pressure to conform. Known for his dashing role in The Thornbirds, Chamberlain was one of television's most beloved leading men. Behind the scenes, though, he spent decades hiding his sexual identity. He didn't publicly come out until 2003, fearing that being gay would destroy the romantic image that made him a star. In his memoir, he finally embraced the truth and became a quiet inspiration to many older LGBTQ+ individuals. Hollywood's golden boy of the 1950s, Tab Hunter was the epitome of clean-cut charm. Secretly, he had a long and passionate relationship with actor Anthony Perkins. Hunter later opened up in his 2005 memoir Tab Hunter Confidential, finally giving himself the freedom that decades of silence had denied him. His story shows how much pain lay beneath those picture-perfect smiles. Best known for his chilling role in Psycho, Perkins lived a life of duality. Married with children, he still struggled with his same-sex attractions. He was deeply closeted, battling religious guilt and societal pressure. Perkins died from complications related to AIDS, never publicly acknowledging his sexuality, though it was an open secret in Hollywood. A dashing star of the 1940s and 50s, Power's personal life was cloaked in mystery. While he had several high-profile marriages, persistent rumors suggested he had liaisons with men throughout his life. He died young, at 44, and the truth about his private world remains ambiguous to this day. Salmano rose to fame as a teen idol and critical darling for his Oscar-nominated role as Plato in Rebel Without a Cause. Behind the camera, however, he struggled with a reality that Hollywood of the 1950s wasn't ready to embrace: his sexuality. Though he began to open up about being gay in the 1970s, by then his once blazing career had cooled. Roles had grown scarce, and the industry's fear of openly gay actors left him sidelined. Tragically, in 1976, he was stabbed to death in what police believed was a botched robbery. He was only 37. His death not only shocked the entertainment world, but also left behind a haunting question. What more could Salmano have achieved had he lived in a world that allowed him to be fully himself? A leading man of the silent film era, Ramon Novaro was one of Hollywood's earliest Latin heartthrobs. Handsome, elegant, and charismatic, he captivated audiences on screen, while privately hiding his identity as a gay man to protect his career and his life. In a time when being openly gay could mean ruin, Novaro lived quietly and cautiously. That silence, however, did not shield him from tragedy. In 1968, he was brutally murdered in his own home by two men he had met through an escort service. The details of his death were both horrific and heartbreaking, serving as a grim reminder of the violence and vulnerability faced by closeted gay men in a world that refused to accept them. Barry Manilow, the beloved voice behind hits like Mandy and Copacabana, spent decades building a devoted fan base, especially among women who adored his romantic ballads. Behind the scenes, he shared a deeply committed relationship with his longtime manager and partner, Gary Keefe, but kept it private for fear of losing the fans who meant everything to him. For over 40 years, he stayed silent. But when he finally came out in 2017, the reaction was nothing short of heartwarming. Fans didn't abandon him, they embraced him. The love he received proved that the fear he had carried for so long might have been unnecessary. Manilow's story is a gentle, uplifting reminder that sometimes people are more accepting than we give them credit for, and that it's never too late to live your truth. Best known for his impeccable comedic timing as Niles Crane on Frasier, David Hyde Pierce built a career marked by wit, intelligence, and warmth. Quiet and private off-screen, Pierce never made a grand announcement about being gay. Instead, he simply lived his life, eventually confirming that he had married his longtime partner, Brian Hargrove. It was a low-key revelation that felt authentic and deeply human. In an industry that often demands spectacle, Pierce's understated honesty was refreshing. He became a quiet icon, not by trying to be a spokesperson, but by living a life of integrity and kindness that spoke volumes to LGBTQ+ audiences. Say it, type it, share it. You never know who else might need to hear your words. Kevin Spacy was once considered one of Hollywood's most respected actors, winning acclaim for his roles in American Beauty, The Usual Suspects, and more. For decades, he dodged questions about his personal life. Then, in 2017, when he was accused of sexual misconduct, he came out publicly as gay, a timing that many saw as opportunistic and deeply manipulative. Instead of being viewed as an act of honesty, his revelation was widely condemned as a deflection tactic. The controversy torpedoed his career and raised complex questions about visibility, accountability, and what it truly means to be part of the LGBTQ+ community. In many ways, his story serves as a cautionary tale about the responsibilities that come with coming out and the dangers of using identity as a shield rather than a truth. As the brooding and brilliant Michael Scofield on Prison Break, Wentworth Miller became a global sensation. But off-camera, he was quietly battling depression and living a double life. For years, he denied being gay, afraid that the truth would destroy his career. That changed in 2013, when he publicly came out in a powerful open letter rejecting an invitation to a Russian film festival because of the country's anti-LGBTQ+ laws. His brave stand made headlines and opened the door for him to speak more openly about his struggles with mental health and identity. Since then, Miller has used his platform to advocate for suicide prevention and LGBTQ+ rights, becoming a voice of strength, honesty, and healing for those who feel unseen. With his stunning good looks and undeniable charm, Matt Bulmer dazzled audiences in White Collar, The Normal Heart, and Magic Mike. For years, he kept a low profile regarding his personal life, until 2012 when he publicly acknowledged his sexuality while accepting an award, thanking his husband Simon Halls and their 3 sons. His coming out was graceful and grounded, without fanfare or drama, and it only made fans love him more. Bulmer didn't just come out. He showed the world what it looks like to live openly, lovingly and authentically as a gay man and a devoted father. In doing so, he became a role model for an entire generation, proving that family, success, and pride can absolutely go hand in hand. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Whether you stayed for a few seconds, watched all the way through, dropped a like, or left a kind comment, you made a difference, and I felt it.